Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today we're going to go over my Spyderco collection, which makes up pretty much the majority of my collection. It's definitely the largest company that I collect, and I know when it comes to Spydercos, you either love them or hate them. There's not a lot of in between for most people, and I know for me myself, it took me a little while to get over the aesthetics of most of the Spydercos. And now I've really grown to appreciate and love them. I think for me, I like them so much because they have such a diverse lineup and they use so many different steels. So if you want to try out a new steel, Spyderco is usually the place to go when it comes to a production company. So the one you see in front of you right here, this was my first, I think my first titanium frame lock, or at least my first expensive one. This is the Spyderco Sage 2, the Reeve Integral Lock version. If anybody knows anything about the Sage series, the series goes over different types of locking mechanisms, and this is the Chris Reeve Integral Lock, and just a great EDC folder, nice lightweight, super smooth, and that spider flick, that's what keeps me coming back. So that's the Spyderco Sage 2. The next one is a little guy, very little guy, and that is the Spyderco Dog Tag Knife collaboration with Serge Panchenko, and definitely a cool little keychain knife. You can even wear it around your neck. It's got some premium steels. You got titanium for the frame with some aluminum and CPM S30V, which is kind of crazy for such a little knife. They went with a premium steel. I don't mind it, but it definitely drove the price tag up. So there you go. Let's see, we'll go to the next small ones. This is one that I modified myself with some Curanite scales. This is the Spyderco Little Lum. This was a knife that Spyderco produced after Bob Lum had passed away, and they just basically shrunk down the bigger version. And I put some, it came with black G10 scales. I did these Curanite scales on here just because I wanted to see if I could modify this knife. And just a cool knife. It has VG10 steel. For the steel and the materials, I think it was a little overpriced. That's why this one probably wasn't the best seller for them. The next used to be my favorite fishing knife, and that is the Spyderco Pingo. This comes with N690 steel, and the standard version comes with what is it, FRN handle scales. I bought these scales off of an Instagrammer. I don't know exactly who made them, but they did a nice job. This is a Genzanzo Jesper Voxnays collaboration. Just a great little knife. They have another one, same model with LMAX steel and titanium, and it's a slip joint, so it's legal in pretty much any area. And it comes with the Spyderco wire clip. I just take it off because I drop it in the pocket. The next is a discontinued blade, and that is the Spyderco Chubby. It's got CPM S30V steel, some carbon fiber inlays in there. This is a Michael Birch collaboration made in Taichung, Taiwan. There's Birch's logo. Cool little folder. Nice 4-finger grip. Nice, and you can see why they call it the Chubby. Look at that chubby blade and that beautiful swedge. This could be a long video, peeps, so if you don't feel like watching a long one, you might want to press stop now. Another, I would say rare and discontinued because I chased this knife forever, that is the Spyderco Leaf Storm. And this is a Kevin Wilkins design, the collaboration with CPM S30V steel, Jade G10 scales with titanium frame lock. And boy, is this a hard one to find for a good price that's not totally beat up. There's Wilkins logo, and it's made in Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. That makes me laugh every time I read that. Just a cool design. if you've heard that name before, he's the one that makes the Wilkins grips. For like your Benchmade Wilkins grips. He makes them for Spyderco, Delicas, and stuff like that. So there you go. Let's see. Moving on to three knives that, in my eyes, are very, very similar in look. So I think that's why I like them all. The first is the Delica 4. This one has HAP 40 steel with the SUS 410 outer. So it's a laminate. It's got, see that line right there? That's your HAP 40. And then the outer jacket's a softer steel for more durability. Got some aftermarket micarta scales that I picked up on Amazon. Great fit and finish on these scales. I got a Casey Lynch deep carry pocket clip, and I love this knife. It gets used a lot. You can see all the scratches on it. This is my go-to knife. I've really started to like the HAP 40. It's very easy to sharpen. At least for me, it's been easy to sharpen, especially touching it up on the Spyderco Sharp Maker. The back spring on this one is super easy to manipulate. I can't, like, I've owned a few other Delicas and I couldn't flip them out with my thumb, but this one, easy to flip open, super smooth. You can go up, and I failed. That's the Spyderco Delica 4 and HAP 40 steel. Another one that looks fairly similar, and another discontinued blade, is the Spyderco Caly 3. There you go, pretty close in looks. The Caly 3, this one is got the carbon fiber scales. Let's see, with the ZDP 189 with the 420 J2 outer core again. And there's that line is sandwiched between the ZDP. I don't really like when they do that. I know it's a more durable. It's more durable when you do that. But if you don't want your blade to look like it's been through war, like this one, that outer steel is very soft, so it scratches with just cardboard cutting. So there's your Caly 3. Awesome gentleman's knife right here. I think that's Sal Glesser's maker mark. I'm always messing that up. Somebody will correct me down in the comments. This knife is super smooth. It's just riding on the steel frames. There's no washers in there. And for not having any washers, for doing away with the friction, this thing's super smooth. I can Spidey flick this one, I think. Yeah, very nice knife. I think they're going to be having some sprint runs of these coming soon. I think that's why they discontinued that one. And like I said, these last three all look pretty similar, but this next one looks to me almost identical to the Delica, and that is the Mantra. Just looks like the Delica with a flipper and titanium scale. So if you didn't like having the FRN on your Delica and you didn't want to buy some aftermarket scales, you can get a Delica for around 68 bucks. I think I picked this Mantra up for like $160, and not only do you get the upgraded handle scales, you get M4 steel, and I absolutely love M4. M4 takes a stupid sharp edge and holds onto that edge for an extreme long time. There you go, CPM M4. This is made in their Taichung, Taiwan. There's Eric Glesser's maker's mark. So yeah, that last one was Sal Glesser's, and this was nice and thin behind the edge, very thin. And you can do that whenever you when you have a steel like M4. I know there was a lot of complaints about the paper thin washers they have, and they are super thin. And I don't want to take this one apart to see what they look like. So it's riding smooth right now. I'll just leave it be. It's got a lock bar insert. Nice knife. Very, very comfortable in hand. If you like the ergos of the Delica, you should like the ergos of this. I will say that flipper tab does bring you a little bit further back on the handle. Awesome knife. Alright, let's see. Next, this is Martin Schleich collaboration. Schleich, however you say his name. Collaborations, the first one that he did was the Techno. And this one is rocking CTS XHP. Absolutely love that steel. They say it's a powdered form of D2. If I had to choose this between D2, it would be this all day long. I think it performs way better than D2. That's just my experience. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm sharpening it. I don't know. But this is a cool little knife. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. It's got the wire pocket clip that I enjoy a lot. Super stout, tank of a knife. Just a great little folder. I still got to post my review up on this. That should be coming soon. The next one coming from Marcin is the Spyderco Bowie. Another home run. I would say all three of his collaborations have been absolute home runs in my eyes. This one is got just impeccable fit and finish. Got the CTS XHP steel. Love that mirror polish, stone wash. Just phenomenal. I love me a Bowie shaped blade. Nice, nice, nice. Love that finish on the titanium. Super ergonomic. I got a review on this one. If you would like to see it, check it out. And this thing is super smooth. Did y'all see that, peep? Watch this. Watch this. Watch. Boom. That sucker just falls out like it's drunk. And the last one in the collaboration, one that has surprised me over and over, time and time again, that is the Spidey Chef. This knife has been one of my favorite Spydercos. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I love this knife. I love the look of it. It's different. It doesn't look like anything else I have. The thing that I love the most is the fact that in our Louisiana humidity, blades corrode just sitting in my pocket. And this has got, where is it at? LC200N, which is pretty much a rust-proof steel. And you got your titanium frames. Nothing on this knife is really going to rust. I'm sure, if you left this in salt water for long enough, it would probably start rusting around the maker's mark and all the laser engraving. But this knife, or this steel, takes a wicked sharp edge. I mean, scary sharp. And it holds it for a super long time. And it's pretty crazy. It's almost like there's a differential heat treat on this, because if you see, you can see this is a user for me. Let's see, you can see more of the scratches and stuff on this side of the blade. I use this to cut just about anything. Look, there you go, all those right there. And it scratches super easy, kind of like the Delica with the outer of, what is it, SUS 410, because that's a super soft steel, so it takes on scratches very easy. And when I noticed how easy this blade scratched, I think I got my first scratches just breaking down the cardboard box, no staples in it or anything, and I noticed scratches on it right away. So I was like, oh, great. This stuff is super soft. I thought it was going to be like H1 steel. I'm not a big fan of H1. And lo and behold, this thing has just outshined a lot of my other high-end steels. Definitely not a steel snob, but I do appreciate a good steel. It's nice not having to sharpen or touch up your blade every day after use. And this thing, you'd have to get one and use it to see what I'm talking about. And I love that. I love that downward angle you got there. Easy to make contact. You're not going to bang up your knuckles. And super smooth. I can deploy it. I think, yeah, I can deploy it with a spidey flick, thumb flick, or you can just slow roll it. And this is just an awesome knife. Awesome. You know, I can't really say, you know, somebody asked me the other day, which one would you buy, the Bowie or the Spidey shelf, and they're just so different in so many different ways. You know, if you want one for, you know, fit and finish award, Bowie all day, every day, twice on Sundays. But if you want one that is different looking, feels good in the hand, the steel is super corrosion resistant, then Spidey Chef all day, every day. But they're so different in you know what they are, then it's hard to say this is a better. You know, if you have a lot of humidity in your area and you're worried about rust, I'd go with this knife. You know, not saying, I mean, CTS XHP is pretty good with its corrosion resistance, but the LC200N has got an edge up on it when it comes to that. So there you go. Let's see. Next one is Spyderco Stretch. This one's also in the HAP 40. This one I haven't got to use yet because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep this one or not. But it still remains in the collection. If you haven't ever owned a Stretch and you need a good worker, grab you a Stretch. Especially get the ZDP 189 version. Awesome knife. It's not the prettiest knife in the world, but in hand it is so comfortable. You can choke up, and when I say this thing can do some work, you got some stainless liners in there, so it's not like, you know, this is a lightweight. You know, you can do a good bit of chores with this. I've seen a dude cut up some old tires with one of these, or with the ZDP model. Great knife. Definitely a staple in Spyderco's lineup. And tried and true, Spyderco Paramilitary in M4 with the JG10. I think this was a Blade HQ exclusive. I love me some JG10. You can see through it right there. And I love some M4 steel. And nothing need to be said about the Paramilitary that hadn't been said before. One that I haven't carried in a while was the first flipper that Spyderco ever made, and that was the Southern. And mine has some aftermarket Lightning Strike carbon fiber scales on it that I got from somebody off Instagram. It's got definitely a different blade shape than your average knives, and it's got Carpenter's 204P, CTS 204P. I was never a fan of the pocket clip. Very sharp right here. Not the most comfortable, and it's not the best flipper in the world, but mine's dialed in. I can get it to come out with authority as long as I do a push button. It's made for the push button. The way that comes up, that's about all you get whenever you do the light switch, but push button, great flipper. Alright, another flipper and controversial knife is the Spyderco Gayle Bradley Advocate. I sure hope they do a new run of these and get it right, because these also have those paper thin race washers in there, hardened stainless washers. This has CPM M4. Absolutely love the orange peel finish. Just beautiful. Never seen a production folder with that type of finish. You usually see it in customs. There's Gayle Bradley's maker's mark. This is a Tai Chung Taiwan knife. I love the polished outer frame. Mine has been super smooth from day one. It rockets out. I'm not going to take it apart because I don't want to risk those washers falling apart on me. But Spyderco will definitely take care of me if so. I have had some warranty work done in the past. It wasn't the most pleasant, but they took care of me. That is the Spyderco Advocate. All right, let me try to hurry. I'm getting pretty far. Another Gayle Bradley design. This is the Gayle Bradley 1. Another M4 steel blade. This is another hard use work knife, and Gayle Bradley made it as a hard used work knife. Ergonomics awesome. That ramp always lends itself to be pretty awesome in hand for me. Got a nice thin hollow grind. This thing super smooth. Of course, not on camera. I did a few modifications to mine. I took a little bit away right here so I could get to that lock bar with my beat up fingers. It just made more sense for me. There you go. Next one is Sprint Run, I think. This is Manix and Crewwear with the gray G10. There you go. Got this at St. Nick's Knives. Nice knife. Doesn't get carried a whole lot because the jimping is just too aggressive for my hands. You know, I know, you know, the normal person maybe not, but it's got jimping everywhere. All jimped up. Reminds me of the Benchmade Contigo with all that jimping, and you can see it's raised, so it's pretty harsh. So being that I love the ergonomics of the Manix, and I just couldn't handle that jimping, I picked up this bad boy from my good buddy Copper Dice, and it's been in my pocket a whole lot. This Maximet steel is definitely some awesome stuff. I love that stone wash they put on it, and you know, this one you don't have those. You have it, but it's not aggressive. Super comfortable in hand. Forget I even have it in my pocket. This thing's a cardboard destroyer. Takes a licking, keep on ticking. Maximet Manix lightweight. Next is a Spyderco paramilitary or Para 3 with S30V steel. Some aftermarket linen, OD green linen micarta scales. Cool knife. Still haven't made up my mind about what I think about this knife. It's definitely cool. Came super stupid sharp, and still super blah 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 sharp. But I don't know. I'm still undecided on this one. All right, and let's see. Gotta have a Delica. I mean Endura. This was my first acid stone wash I attempted, and you can see it's got some rusting on it. BG10 steel. This used to be my primary food cutting knife at work. It used to stay in my locker, so it never used to get clean besides just wiping it off, rinsing it sometimes. Another great knife, big knife for what it is. Lightweight, nice knife. Got another overseas Spyderco, and this is the Spyderco Efficient. I totally forgot I had this one. I still need it. I think this one will start. This one will go in the rotation, so I can get my review out of this. They got some pluses and some serious minors as far as I'm concerned. And there you go, just a nice budget friendly Spyderco. Another Chinese-made Spyderco, the Polestar. Yeah, you heard me. She's on the Polestar, rocking Zelric edge. Look at that beauty. Woo! He sure knows how to sharpen a knife. Beautiful edge. I tested the steel not too long ago because I heard a lot of stuff about the CTS BD1 being terrible. And I cut up a bunch of cardboard, and for what it is, I do think this knife is a little overpriced. I think it should be more in the $45 category. I think it's like $65. I think that's overpriced in my eyes. You could get the lightweight Manix for that. I don't know. I'm still hadn't made up my mind on this one. I think I cut up uh, 210 feet of cardboard before it no longer sliced paper. But I will say I threw it on the Spyderco Sharp Maker and just a few passes on the medium and fine rods, and this thing is razor sharp again. So not a bad steal, especially not a bad budget steal. I just think the price shouldn't have been where it was at. My last three are my biggest Spydercos. Well, this one, the next one's a discontinued Spyderco that I'm glad I picked up when I did, and I absolutely love it. That is the Spyderco Tough. This is definitely a love it or hate it knife. At first, I thought this was the ugliest knife known to man. And I still, it's still not the prettiest knife in the world. But boy, is it a cool one. It's got my favorite steel, CPM 3V, super tough stuff. And the name says it all, Spyderco Tough. I wish they wouldn't have had such a thick, it's pretty thick behind the edge, and it gets, to full thickness right about here, and you got this blood groove. So, I thought about getting this edge thinned out a little bit to make it more of a performer, but I think I'll leave it alone. I will say, I put this edge on it a while back. Let's see if I can show this. It's got a small, not even, I guess, a partial roll to it. And let's see, it's right there. I don't know if you can see that right here. And there you go. You can see it right there. And I was cutting a zip tie off of a valve full force, and that edge banged up against a metal valve. I mean, as hard as I possibly could. And after I hit it, I didn't even want to look at the knife. I thought I was going to have a huge chip out of the steel. I mean, it made a noise. It made a loud ting. Even the guy I was working with was like, man, was that your knife that hit that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I just put it in my pocket, went about my day. And finally, whenever we got back into our control room, I said, let me check the damage. And lo and behold, I was super shocked that all it had was a minor roll. That is very impressive. CPM 3V. Spyderco Tough. Discontinued. Another discontinued blade. Spyderco Friedmare K2. Love the blade shape on that. I love a trailing point, clip point, Bowie, you name it. This one's also got a awesome steel CPM 10V. This is a nice cardboard destroyer for me, but I will say it's not the most comfortable knife in hand. It's got some 90-degree edges all the way around here. It's very, very blocky, and that's about enough said. Super smooth though. Let's see. Look at that. I don't want to cut my hand, but super smooth. Such a big knife, you'd think it'd be hard to deploy. Oh, hard to deploy, but no. Just a beautiful grind. Look at that. Spyderco K2. Definitely a beast. Look at that. It barely fits in frame. Alright, last but certainly not least, if you're a Spyderco fan and you got a paramilitary too already, you got to have a military. And I waited a long time to pick me up a military because I wanted, if I was going to pick one up and I knew I was only going to get one, I wanted a sprint run, and Maximet wasn't out yet, and the M390 versions were super expensive on the secondary market, and the M4 ones hadn't came out yet. So I saw these at KnifeWorks. They're still available. This one's in CTS 204P. 204P is a great steel as well. It's also on the Spyderco Southern. It's very similar to M390 and 20CV. This is definitely a great work knife right here. You got 4 inches of cutting edge, very comfortable, and for being as big, let's see, being as big, almost as big as the K2, close to it. I mean, it's about probably a ½ inch shorter than the K2, and it's super light. I mean, I can't remember offhand, but for as big as it is, it's definitely a EDCable folder. You know, you might not want to EDC something this big, but, you know, there you go. All right, that wraps up my whole Spyderco collection. I will be working on getting the rest of the collection out. Hope everybody enjoyed this. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my videos in general, please subscribe. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.